Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just hit Control Z. Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Netflix's original series Control Z. So Control Z, this is a new Spanish series in the vein of, I would say, 13 Reasons. When a hacker begins releasing student secrets to the entire high school, the socially isolated but observant Sofia works to uncover her identity. First of all, I'm just going to go and say I was very impressed with this series. There are 8 episodes, about 40 minutes a piece, and I think you'll get through this very quickly. If you like the storylines are similar to 13 Reasons and that kind of detective-esque storylines, much like Riverdale, that kind of stuff, that you're going to like this, I think. I quite like the protagonist. Her role is much more in-depth than I was expecting it to be. You get really great backstories for these characters, but basically it's a cat and mouse who done it. And we're focused on this character named Sophia. She is this very intelligent person who has deductive reasoning, like Sherlock Holmes. Not quite to that extent, but she can see a lot. She can put things together. She's basically the college detective, and she is in this college that seems to be like the worst of the worst. People that go here have secrets that are so dark, more dark than I was expecting, and the themes that this series tackle are also very dark. So do be warned if there are things that I guess emotionally get you and it's too hard to watch, then you should maybe avoid some of them. Self-harm is definitely a theme in this, so if that is maybe something that you shouldn't be watching, then that's just kind of a warning for you. Just like bear that in mind. You actually see it, they do show it, just giving you a warning. But Sophia is our heroine, and we follow her. The story also goes into their lives, and in depth, I think we get to see a little bit about what makes her tick and why she is this broken character, why she is the way she is. I really like that. But what makes this story very intriguing to watch is the whodunit. But it's always pointing at a person, and you're always guessing who you think it's going to be. And that was a lot of fun for me because I actually didn't guess. It wasn't until they revealed the reveal did I go, oh, well, okay, that kind of makes sense. And even then, when they do the reveal, there's more to the story, which I really like, because there's so many series and movies nowadays where you can guess beat for beat and plot for plot exactly who's going to do what and who's going to do what. Don't get me wrong, they are cliche character arcs, they are cliche college cliques, but I think that works. They're trying to make it more realistic. Everything's heightened in this series as well, so everything that you get bad in a college is heightened in this. I don't know if that is the like a realistic look at it. It certainly wasn't my experience. There was some of that for sure, but there's definitely a heightened sense. Everybody's having sex, everybody's doing drugs, but to a much heightened sense. People are depressed and wanting to commit suicide and all of that. So they touch on these very big themes that seem to be very rife in today's series, especially Netflix series, similar to that. And then as you investigate, as the audience investigates each episode, you are trying to really guess who did it. And I think that makes it fun. There are moments where it gets really dark. So I know I kind of warned you, but there are moments where the story goes from, okay, this is some hackers releasing everybody's information, to, whoa, maybe they shouldn't be releasing that information because the consequences of that. So basically the series is about your secrets and the consequences of keeping those secrets, and then you see the consequences of what happens when those are revealed. So when your deepest, darkest secrets are shown to everybody, you see the mess and the chaos that ensues there within. I think the acting, for the most part, is really great. I really bought the Sophia character and kind of those dotted around her. You don't get too much in-depth character work on some of the subsequent smaller acting scenes, but for the most part, the main players are given a bit of backstory, enough for you to care about them or to care about what's going on in the story, because a lot of time I've felt it was quite easy to dislike these characters because what they're doing, I mean, like the unjust stuff about bullying, that really kind of makes me just want to punch the bullier. But I like that the story shows the consequences of a lot of those sequences that you see. So from bullying, from self-harming, all of that kind of stuff, you see what happens around it and what causes that. And I think that kind of shines a light on some of the stuff that we sometimes don't like to talk about. That's not to say this series is just dark and broody. There is a lot of fun to have, but There is a lot of fun to be had, but that's mostly to do with the whodunit storyline. It's put together very well. I like the editing, I like the score, I like the soundtrack. It's all done very well. There was nothing that felt out of place. There was just one bit that I was like, whoa, what are you doing there? There's this moment of chaos when something erupts and students are beating on each other. Without going into any kind of major spoilers, the camera work there had the worst shaky cam for about 20 seconds I've ever seen. It was like, wow. And I'm all for a little bit of shaky cam in a little bit of chaos. But it was just like, what was happening? I just like, okay, I'll just let you do what you're doing with the camera. It felt like they were doing this with the camera. I was like, okay, fine. I understand that you're trying to show chaos. Perhaps you could just do a wide and show it to us with a little bit of sequence music and cutting into it with different shots and close-ups and slow-mo like they like to do and that kind of thing. That's my only kind of negative takeaway. I would actually like a second season of this. I think the world and the story of those characters would be interesting to see what happens afterwards. Although I'm tentatively saying that because I don't really like what they've done with 13 Reasons. The 13 Reasons series, that unique individual story was great. But now we have, well, we're about to get the 4th season. And so I don't know. I know people like to make things that work and make money and that get lots of views. And so obviously if this does well, we probably will get a second season. But that's not to say I will be disheartened if we get a second season, because I think it's actually a pretty damn good series. I was riveted from beginning to end. I think the 40-minute mark, sometimes just dipping below, is the right thing for this. So they don't stretch out those episodes. You get to understand what's going on, what's happening with each of these characters, and that kind of flow, the editing that is so tight, makes it keep the pacing and the tone obviously faster than I expected this series to go. Right from the beginning, the story kind of gets right in there. By the second episode, by the third episode even, they've developed a massive part of the arc. And sometimes I just expect these series to take a long time to get there. But this series doesn't waste any time. They just go for it, which I really appreciated. They're not hanging, they're not stringing us along, not making us wait for the last 2 episodes and then they go next season. You kind of get what you want from this series in a nutshell. I think the acting, very good. Composing, the music, the sound, the score all really heightens the sense of tension when there needs to be. Very well put together series. I think you're going to enjoy this. I'd love to know which character you think is the best.
7.
In this series. I think is one of the better I've seen. And do you want a second season? Let me know in the comments below. Do chat to me in the comments about like what you thought about this series. Do you think it was really good? What would you compare it to? I know I'm comparing it to 13 Reasons.
There's nothing more to say.
But it's not exactly like that. There are other series you could compare it to. What jumps to mind when you think about this series? I think it was pretty damn good. I would like to see more from these creators. I believe it's created by 3 people, so it's not just one mind. They've sat around the desk and really worked at making the story work and flow like it should do. There's no extra padding. There's no wasted dialogue. There's no wasted story. You feel like you're getting what you need to with each episode. They develop those characters. They develop those storylines. It doesn't drag you along. You're there with it. You're trying to guess who's done it. One thing I was quite curious about was the female protagonist, Sophia, she has a couple of love interests, and I was surprised by who I was immediately wanting them to be a part, like a couple, and I was like, no, I choose them. I always kind of go for the underdog. Who did you immediately want Sophia to be with? Because the story kind of shows you, it's like, oh, who's the bad guy, who's the good guy, who do you want them to be, who do you want to be together? Funny, I got so invested in that bit of the storyline. Yeah, chat to me in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this. I'm giving this a solid A. Thanks so much for watching this review. But most of all, until next time, remember. Review. Keep away the age of wonder beasts. Still, the okay. Ugh.
Probably one of the strong...
And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review. And welcome to the... Gosh, Live Long and Tuesday.